right. So whenever Andre is ready to hit that button
Hey guys,
on
welcome to the Dirt on Gardening podcast. I'm Andre the Farmer, and we are live from Mexico today. And we are just waiting on our co-host to join. I'm going to invite Urban Gardening with Gray and the one and only chocolate botanist. And here we go. What's going on, man?
Hey there, my brother. Good to see you. Good to see you.
Good to see you. We overcome a lot of technical difficulties to be able to bring you the show today. I'm in Mexico. We're on StreamYard, so we're on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, all kinds of platforms. So we've definitely entered the 19th century on this show.
We did. We have entered all the centuries, and we are on all the platforms. So if you're trying to find us on Instagram right now, you check on any one of our pages, and we are there. If you're on the U-Tizzle, you can find us there. You got a great auntie that doesn't like social media because she thinks you're stealing her credit card information, send her to YouTube.
Everybody's got YouTube. Everybody has access to YouTube.
Everybody's got YouTube. All right,
what's up, Lamb Squirt? All right, guys. What's new? What's going on with you? Gray, what's going on with you? What's new?
All right, so I saw this interesting video this weekend on TikTok, and I wanted to talk with you guys about it. So, have you ever heard of using okra water to hydrate your garden?
All right, Gray. I'm going to stop you right there, okay? Because we want to talk about a little bit of nonsense before we talk about plants.
Okay.
So let's not get right into the meat and potatoes. Let's have an appetizer.
We want dessert first.
Let's have a couple rum and cokes. Let's have into the show here. I know you're all about business. Gray is a master gardener. It's all about the gardening. But what's going on with you?
We love to see it.
Not much, brother. Actually, you know what? Something is going on with me. Because, I was thinking last night, I want to get some more birds out here. I want to get some more chickens. So, I had my bobcat problem, right? Mm-hmm. So I want to work on reinforcing my structure for my birds. And I'm thinking about getting some chickens out here. And then I'm thinking about a different kind of bird, too. Because there's a guy I follow on TikTok. Quail? I'm thinking about quail. I'm thinking about quail, too.
I've heard quail are easier than chickens.
I've heard I don't know a lot about quail.
They're supposed to be low maintenance. You probably got to eat like 15 quail eggs to have a meal. But
peacocks would be nice too, but I don't know if I have enough space for peacocks. They're a bigger bird.
You know what? Peacocks don't take a lot of room. Here in this neighborhood, here in Mexico, there is a house that has peacocks, and they don't have a really big cage. It could be pretty cool what they're doing over there, but they've had peacocks, and I wonder if peahens lay eggs that are edible eggs. Like, I'm sure they're edible eggs, but do they lay eggs at enough of a rate that you can eat peacock eggs?
Yeah.
Somebody needs to ask NBC that.
I know a lot of people do ostrich eggs because they do, and they make a very large egg. But again, it's a large bird.
Yeah, that's a pretty big egg. Well, all right, Derek, what's going on with you? What's new with you, Derek?
What's new with me? I'm glad you asked. I was sitting here thinking to myself. I said, he said nonsense. So, of course, you got to come to me. I had my birthday on Friday.
Happy birthday.
3-5. Thank you. All of you for my birthday. I want you to share this with 2 people or else every plant you touch is going to die. And I just had such a ball on that day. I went and bought some plants in Sanford and down in Durham, bought some house plants, saved this blue. I'm going to get the name wrong. It's a Java blue something banana.
Yeah, blue Java banana. Yeah.
There we go. All them words. And oh my God, today I am so excited. It's like a hole. Like it's pretty much a very sad looking plant, but I'm hoping to save it. So I'm feeling good.
Nice. Happy birthday, my brother. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
All right. Priceless Light. Now, there's always one. Now, Priceless Light says peacocks are male, my friend. Yes, we know peacocks are male. But there's peahens as well. So when we say peacocks, we're talking about the birds in general. We're not talking about just a bunch of male peacocks. So,
exactly. Pride just passed, but we are representing all gender norms.
Yes, we are talking about
be who you are for your pride. Amen.
But if we just start off talking about peahens, there are a lot of people who would have no idea what we're even talking about.
Exactly.
We say peacock as a term to encompass the entire species. Now, Derek, I gotta congratulate you on 35. I feel like 35 is when you're actually a full-grown man.
Yeah.
You're like an adult now. You're an adult.
It's official.
I know. I didn't think I was going to make it, y'all, but I did.
Because I'm going to tell you, at 22, I was not a full-grown man. I was still doing some very childish things.
I've got a 22-year-old right here, so I understand. Yeah. But anyways, I am here in Mexico, and I just got down here on Friday. This has been my longest vacation of my entire life. I'm going to be here for 10 days. Ooh, I have never had a 10-day vacation in my life. So I got down here. We haven't been down here in a while. And I do have a home here, and I have a little bit of a garden here. And when I got back, it was a disaster zone. You cannot leave a garden for 2 months and think anything positive is going to happen. The garden, my soursop tree was lying on the ground when I got home. But it's loaded with soursop. So we've tied it up. You can't really stake in the ground because the ground is all rock. So it's hard to drive a wooden stake in the ground. I got a metal rod. I got it kind of down there, but we've got it tied to like 3 different structures to hold this tree up. And it's up in the air right now. It's got about 15 soursop on it right now. So I'm super excited about that. Peafowl. Yes, you could say peafowl, but a lot of people aren't going to have any clue what you're saying if you say peafowl and peahen. So we just say peacock and a lot of people get, hola, amigos. ¿Cómo estás?
Hola. I don't know why I'm trying to act like I speak Spanish. I don't know like 3 words.
Hablo muy bien, pero necesito practicar mucho más. All right. So, guys, we are going to talk today about some gardening myths. And I'll tell you what, it's very easy to fall into these myths because they sound great and you want to believe them. And I'm guilty. I was the original banana water guy. You know, so yeah. All right. So, Greg, give us what you saw on the internet. Let's get started. So,
I saw this interesting video on TikTok, and a young lady was trying to hydrate her garden. And the claim is that the mucilage from okra will help you hydrate your garden. Now, have you guys ever heard of this? I mean, I know we've talked about the banana waters and the orange, onion peel waters and so forth, but have you heard of the okra water?
I have not.
I've heard of okra. I've heard of using okra water in the garden. And I can say that because of the consistency of the slime, I don't know, maybe it retains moisture a little longer because it's slimy. I don't know.
That's the thing. I think that's the thing where a lot of these myths, you know, where it really comes from. We're taking something from nature and then putting it back in nature. So we said, hey, this should be beneficial, right? But the whole point is you're taking this okra and you're soaking it in water for about 24 to 48 hours, like you would do a compost tea. But the thing about it is it's not a compost tea. It's like an extraction. And then a lot of times they cover the top so you're getting no aeration in it whatsoever. And so all you're doing is exposing your plants to harmful bacteria. So in theory, it sounds great, but scientifically, there is no credible proof that it's actually beneficial at all.
I feel it's the same as the banana water, basically. Right. Which, for those of you who don't know, banana water does not provide available nutrients in any sort of significant quantities to your plants. Derek?
Hey, guys. So I love talking about this type of stuff because I think the biggest thing that we have to remind you all is that when it comes to any of these waters, it's supposed to help your plants. Compost tea is one thing because that was actually decomposed, right? Decomposition lets those ionic components, those basic building blocks of plants, go out into the world and be available, right? But when you're just soaking plant parts, it's not really the same. And we just have to be careful with that. Now, off of first hearing, my mind, like Andre, would be like, okay, it's thicker, it's slimier. Maybe that would help it from like evaporating quicker or something. I try to like normalize it in my head. But then I'm also like, that's adding in another instance for like just something to rot and get nasty. And we don't need that. Not in 2025.
See, the thing about it is things that sound right are so easy to believe, and they're a lot easier to believe than things that actually are right in some cases. I'm gonna give you an example of this, and this is from my side hustle. I'm also a dentist, for those that don't know, orthodontist.
Is you?
You didn't know that?
I didn't. I got all types of stuff wrong with my teeth. I'm gonna tell you later. Go ahead.
All right. But one of the biggest myths in all of dentistry is about wisdom teeth. And people always talk about how their wisdom teeth did this and their wisdom teeth pushed their teeth and all kind of stuff. Half the people listening right now are going to say, yeah, my wisdom teeth did that. Wisdom teeth don't push your teeth. They don't push them a bit. Not even a tiny little bit. I'll tell you 2 stories. When I was 18 years old, my dentist sent me to the oral surgeon to get my wisdom teeth out. When I got the oral surgeon asked me, why do you want to pull these wisdom teeth? I said, well, my dentist said they're going to push my other teeth around. And he looked at the x-ray and said, do you think these 2 teeth are going to push 14 other teeth? I was like, man, I don't know. I'm just doing what the guy told me to do, right? We get to dental school and we learn people get the same amount of shifting with or without wisdom teeth, right? But it's not a comfortable thing to believe. When you look at that x-ray and those teeth are sitting there like this, they got to be pushing. They got to be doing something. No, they're just sitting there. I guarantee you that at least half of the people that sat with me in that class and learned about wisdom teeth doing nothing today tell their patients their wisdom teeth are pushing their teeth. Not because they're lying, but because it's way easier to believe something that sounds really right than something that is actually right but is counterintuitive. And that's exactly what happens with these waters.
I think you said it the best. I mean, I could not match that. That's it. It sounds plausible. It sounds real, so we believe it. But as far as University of Florida Extension says most plant nutrients are not water soluble. And honestly, the best way to go is a fertilizer or a microbe. That's where you want to go. And that's coming straight from University of Florida Ag Extension.
Yep. I believe it. And I've been guilty in the past. Now, Nietzsche says, why Mexico? Did you get a place there for planting? No, not for planting purposes, just for living purposes. But I do grow plants here as well. Can you use water from the air conditioner?
I don't know what's in air conditioner water. I mean, if you're not doing edibles, I would say go for it. But I don't know what's the chemicals coming out in there. I feel like the condensate is just water, right?
I think it would be pure water.
It's just water. Take it from me. I am an auto mechanic, former engineer. It is just water. It is just condensation from air. So you can use it. Yes, perfectly.
Like it's essentially distilled water.
Yeah.
Ooh. Yeah. So because I did a video about there's a truck that had hydroponics in it, and they supplied all the food for one of the local hospitals. And their AC provided all the water. They were net positive on water for the plants. Like they weren't bringing any water from the outside in. It was all coming from the condensation of the AC units.
Yeah, there's actually back when I used to be an educator, one of the principals that I was really good friends with, he built a she shed for his wife, and he was growing plants using the condensation from his AC as well. He was a mathematician, so he had figured out all the math and everything to make it work. It was actually really cool, and he couldn't wait to show me. Like, great, check this out. So yeah, all just up condensation.
Now, Pretty Lala says, I know it works for a woman's body. I think he's talking about the okra water.
There's no clinical studies to show that, because I know some people will be like alkaline, because another person talks about alkaline water, or the water and the alkaline jungle concept for that as well, like the alkaline principle, which is like the alkaline principle is basically these plants are supposed to be alkaline and lower the acidity of your body, which makes your body work better, which is not true at all. So unfortunately, friends, if it makes you feel more loose, go for it. But there's no science to support that.
Yeah, like our bodies are, the pH of our bodies is tightly regulated. You are not altering your body pH in any significant manner by eating different things or eating. Everything goes into your stomach and it's like pH 2. It's like the most acidic environment possible. So if it's going in your stomach, it's all becoming acidic before it gets into your body. So yeah, that's...
Yeah, because I think it's like hydrochloric acid in the stomach. So yeah, it's melting everything there.
Alkaline Jungle says okra water is good for women, if you know what I mean. Well, I'll tell you what. I would not listen to anything that anyone that has alkaline in their title and is in the health field. I would listen to nothing that they say ever.
And the fact that that's coming from him is amazing because he's the nicest of the three of us. Really, these two are the nicest.
I'm the second nicest. I'm the second nicest.
Really, y'all are both tied for number one.
No. Gray is way nicer than me. I'm in between the two of you in terms of niceness.
It's definitely a wide range here. I love it.
Let's see. So what's another wide? I'll tell you one of the myths that really, I don't know if it bothers me because I just kind of ignore it, but electroculture.
Talk about that one.
Electroculture.
Yeah.
No scientific
what do you think
proof
about
of
electroculture, Gray?
It's no scientific proof on. I'm based. Everything I do is based off of science. Like for instance, when I'm giving garden advice, everything that I ever tell you is always going to be backed by something I have read or I've studied at the Ag Extension, or I've checked out scientific journals, or I've checked the USDA website, because I never want to be someone who misleads or harms someone's garden. And it's very important. So with electroculture, there's no evidence that this works whatsoever. So I just throw the baby out with the bathwater when it comes to electroculture.
Derek, what's your view on electroculture, man?
Did we say what electroculture was? Did we do a quick description?
Okay, well, yeah, let's describe it first. What is it?
The description of it is you take this copper pole. Some people do copper and crystal. Some people just do copper. A copper pole, copper wiring. You put it in your gardening around your plants, and it's supposed to help them because the concept allegedly is that through magnetism and frankly magic, you can allow, yes, that picture is slanted. You can allow your plants to absorb nutrition better, and it's supposed to fight bugs and keep your pests away and keep weeds down and everything else. And what I think about it is a bunch of hogwash. If I wanted somebody to lie to me, I would ask my daddy to call me for my birthday. If I wanted somebody to disappoint me, okay, I would go to Tyler Perry and say, give me a good representation of a positive Black relationship. But since I'm not doing all of that, what I would say is, if you are, again, like the two gentlemen have said, you go to cooperative extension, you go to your agricultural extension offices, right? Or people like us who are going like plants legitimately, we can often lead you down a great path.
All right. Listen, I've had people that I know that have tried it. And the thing is, when it doesn't work, it's always because someone will say, well, you didn't do this right, or you didn't do this, you didn't have this in the right direction, or so and so. But there's so many instances in nature where there's so much metal around, there's so many poles in the ground that you would just expect to see it. And if it was a thing that really did improve the yield, you don't think commercial farmers would have had this figured out to a T, and they would have them down cornfields, down every single agricultural field would just have metal poles sticking out of it and just growing, double yields all over the place.
Yeah. And to really go to what this person in the comments is saying, because I know some of you be like, well, it works for me. And I want you to know you're just a good grower. You're a person that grows plants, right? Unless you are doing a real test. So a real scientific test means you have thousands of plants, and some with copper, some without it, and you're somehow growing in a space where copper doesn't exist, right? Because if you're saying this works and you live in any home, there's wiring in your houses, you're carrying copper on your cell phones, right? Your cell phone has them, your car has them, all of this has them. If this really worked to any of you who are really swearing for it, there would be no climate change, because since the Industrial Revolution, we've been putting more metal out, there would be more plant growth, and thus we wouldn't be in the hellhole we're in now.
but you really would have to have a real control. And I know a lot of people have anecdotal stories about, but copper and this tomato grew real big and this one stayed real small. That's anecdotal evidence is not evidence. But listen, if it makes you feel better and you grow better because you have it, then hey, I'm not telling you not to do it. I'm just telling you, if you haven't done it, don't waste your money on it.
Right. But it's something. It's funny because I was talking with a buddy last night, and he said something prolific, which is a buddy of mine. Sometimes he says things prolific, and sometimes he says things that are way completely out the box. But he says it's the expectation. That's what it is. It sets us up for this false reality. Like, for instance, with the okra water. Like, hey, look, If it's not killing your plants, now granted, I wouldn't do it because you could potentially be adding that bacteria to your plants. But if your plants are thriving and they're doing okay, it makes you happy, cool. But just don't go about the claims that it's going to be the best thing since sliced bread. That's the part right there.
Now, one thing I want to say is I'm out here in Mexico, and it is rather warm, and we have a tremendous amount of mosquitoes here. Right beside me is basically a jungle, and I have my Sonia's bug spray on, and I have not been bothered by a single mosquito yet.
Really?
Sonia's bug spray, it is like lotion. It feels so good on your skin. It doesn't feel like bug spray. Like, you don't have to take a shower after you put this on. Like most bug sprays, you just feel gross after. This is all natural. Sonia's bug spray you can get at soniasbugspray.com. So check it out, Sonia's bug spray, guys.
You know, with all the rain that I've been getting out here in Dallas, I've been putting my Sonia's bug spray on every single morning just to combat all that humidity and all those bugs that's been trying to accumulate.
Yeah. Now, someone on here mentioned something which I want your guys' opinion on it.
Okay.
Someone said urine is the best fertilizer. Now, I know banana trees like urine. What do you guys think about urine as a fertilizer for more plants?
Derek, you want to take it first? Because I got my opinion.
When it comes to the urine, I was reading one of these comments. When it comes to urine, I mean, if I've seen gray water systems where they reutilize like human waste in order to feed a garden. And I mean, if you're going to do it. It's not anything I would do like manually. If I had a gray water system, I would do it where I'm like recycling the water, like in a house that has like no harsh, environmentally terrible chemicals, including like shower water, dish water, and like toilet water. I would do that, but like other than that, I wouldn't put it on my plants.
So now I'm glad you mentioned that because, okay, guys, I'm going to give y'all some homework. It's on YouTube because we're streaming live on YouTube right now. But I want you to go check out a specific channel. Check out Earthships. And you want to check out a gentleman by the name of Mike Reynolds. He has created this housing system where essentially it's a net zero house that the house supplies everything it needs from its electricity, its plants, its water, and so forth. And one of the things that they do is they have an inside greenhouse, and they use the gray water just like you were talking about. So the gray water from the showers and so forth to feed the plants. But going back to the original subject about the actual urine, scientifically, urine already has a lot of nitrogen. It's a lot of nitrogen in urine, but there also is a lot of salt. There's a lot of sodium in urine as well. So scientifically, you can use it, but I would recommend diluting it. I would do like a 1-to-5 ratio. If you want to use it as a liquid fertilizer, it would work great for your plants. It really would. I just think it's gross, but it would work.
I get you. A lot of people are very uncomfortable with it. Now, Nechamps had a follow-up question about the wisdom or comment about wisdom teeth. Yes, they don't move teeth, but easy to get infected if they don't come through. No, they're easy to get infected if these are wisdom teeth. They're easy to get infected if they partially come through. If they are completely bony impacted, it's very difficult for them to get infected, and they can stay there your whole lives. If they're partially in and partially out, that's a different story. That's a reason to remove wisdom teeth. I'm not saying never remove wisdom teeth. I'm saying don't remove them because you think they're going to shift your teeth. You need a better reason than that. Mm-hmm. Clove will help any teeth issue. It's like a dental podcast now. Clove will soothe dental pain if the nerve is exposed, but it doesn't solve any issues at all. No.
And 3 cups of coffee says nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, and micronutrients are all beneficial, and people have been using urine for centuries. Yeah, that's what I said. You're 100% right, and that's backed up by science. You can use it. I just think it's gross. That's just my preference, though.
And when some things are like full of it, we have to remember this is a waste product, so it's not full of something. This is how they get a lot of us with like this plant hang information. Somebody tells you it's full of all these things, and it can't. There's only a finite amount of resources in the world, so it can't be full of them.
All right, Jersey Belle says she uses eggshell water. It seems to work. Now, listen, my grandmother used to put eggshells in all her pots, all over the house growing up. Tell us the deal. What's the real deal on eggshells?
Go ahead, Greg.
So eggshell water. Okay, eggshell water and eggshells, two different things. Eggshell water, while there are trace amounts of calcium carbonate that comes from the eggshell water, it's not enough to be sustainable as a true fertilizer. You can do it, it's not going to hurt anything, but it's not going to help anything as well. Does that make sense? So it's like really small amounts.
What if the eggs aren't like completely like the shells aren't washed out? So you're getting a little bit of the egg whites in there as well. Isn't that a little bit of like protein and nitrogen and so that's getting in the water?
Not really, because again, those nutrients aren't really water soluble in that form. What you say, Derek?
They're not. And I think the thing is when we're doing this, so like if you're going to make eggshells and use them to help your plants, like number one, a whole eggshell, even ground up, can take at minimum, a year. So if you put that eggshell as a fine powder, which some people don't do, out in your yard, in your garden, in your pots, it takes a year for it to actually have a discernible difference for your plants, right? There's a way to make it immediately available, but it's not just like water. You don't just soak stuff in water and make fertilizers because you need a chemical reaction, right? And calcium bicarbonate is basic, so you need something acidic, like those volcanoes we all used to make, right? Back in the day for the science fair. You add some vinegar to your eggshells, it bubbles up, you get a liquid that you can then dilute and like mix onto your plants. But again, it just needs to be decomposed. And I know a lot of people swear by it, but a minimum is a year. A maximum is 10 years. 10 years maximum for it to go. So it takes a long time.
The volcano, like I made the volcano in elementary school.
Did you?
I was not a good student. So my volcano was simply a hill. There was nothing coming out of it. That was my science project. It was a hill.
We love it.
But it said volcano on it. It has labeled volcano.
As long as they had it labeled, that's all that matters. You knew
exactly. It was dormant. It was dormant.
It was a dormant volcano. That's what you do. That's a dormant volcano.
It was next level stuff. Someone asked, what about molasses and earthworm castings in water?
It is a thing you can do, but you have to be careful when you do that. So when you get your earthworm castings, if you're doing vermiculture yourself or you are buying them, there may be some trace amounts, some strains of bacillus and other beneficial bacteria that are in that when you then make a tea out of it and then you feed it with molasses, a sugar source, you can then make a microbial inoculant. This is not going to like add nutrients to your soil, but it would help your soil to more easily break down nutrients and make them available to your plants. But you have to use it like within a week's time, depending on where you're keeping it, because it will go sour and take out all of your plants and make your apartment smell terrible. And then you're like, I can't invite nobody over here because my house smells like whodunit and why. I'm not saying this from personal experience, of course, but if it did happen in the middle of a summer a couple of years ago, you'd be real depressed.
And you know what? I feel like if you're going through all these steps, why not just make some compost tea? Compost tea works. Compost tea is effective. You know what? If you want the steps on how to make compost tea, I actually have a video from last year on my Instagram that you can go check out right now, and I'll walk you through the steps. And if you're watching here on YouTube, it's on YouTube as well. It's actually even longer, and I go through all the steps on how to make your compost tea.
I'll tell you. This is how you know that this is good. This is how I determine whether information I hear on social media is fairly trustworthy or don't listen to a thing. Gray's not selling you compost tea. He doesn't have a brand of compost tea. He's not trying to market compost tea. Like, he's telling you what he thinks really is the best. And I find that most of the time when you got people on here telling you about something that's kind of, you don't know yay or nay, if they're selling a product with it, then a lot of times it makes me definitely rethink what's going on in that situation. So thank you, Greg.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. And Don Marie, we are your friends.
So Urban Harvest says, I think there are some agricultural articles that eggshell water and rice water will have nutrients, but in minute trace amounts.
Yeah.
Well, minute trace amounts aren't going to really help, right?
It's not. It's like not like if I was to give you some gold, right? But I gave you like 1,000 pounds of something, but a millionth of a percent of that, which is trace, is gold, and the rest is copper. You would be like, you're not going to be like, oh, I got 1,000 pounds of gold. You'd be like, I have a very
I'll
plate of
I'll
copper.
take that 1,000 pounds of copper.
Oh, yeah, I think that copper too.
Well, actually, yeah, copper is worth something, huh?
I'll take it. I'll take it. Deal. Done.
Let's make it. I should have changed it to something else. You got me. I'm not a metallurgist, but y'all see the point. So we have to think about it like that.
But you know what? To Urban Harvest's point, yeah, like even with the rice water. So you're taking your rice and you're cooking, and people are like, well, there's starches in there, and there's proteins in there. I mean, it's so minute. It really is not worth the effort. Now, if you have extra of it and you cool it first, and you let that go in your garden, it's fine. But don't expect it to be like a miracle drug that's going to make you have, a lush garden out there, because you still need to fertilize regularly. So yeah, using your cow manures, using your chicken manures, rabbit manures, or your commercial fertilizer, it's not the end all be all.
Guys, I heard something that at first seemed incredulous to me. But when I Googled it, it seems like it's actually true.
What you got?
Rainwater during a thunderstorm has higher levels of nitrogen in it.
Yeah, that's true.
That is true.
That's crazy to me.
Because the lightning makes it like it.
The nitrogen from the atmosphere, it just gets infused into the water.
Isn't it like ionization?
Ionization. That's the word I could not think of. Thank you, Gray. Gray,
Yeah.
You know about that. Talk about that, Gray.
Well, it's like, okay, so if you're outside and you smell that really fresh smell after a lightning storm, you're smelling the ionization. Excuse me. You're smelling the ionization of the nitrogen that's in the air. So yes, that rainwater is going to have that higher amount of nitrogen as well. But I mean, it's one of those situations like, do I want to really run around chasing storms so to get this nitrogen fresh water, or just go to my local garden center and maybe get some fish emulsion? So it's like risk versus reward.
But is it like after like a thunderstorm rainfall, your plants get a boost
Lightning
as opposed to a regular
lightning.
rainfall? Yeah, and I was like, really? That sounds like real urban legendy to me, but I was like, wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. Chemistry and energy. It's like that's legit. Like you actually have a high source of energy taking nitrogen out of the air and then putting it into a form that is now mixed in with the water and that is available to the plants. That's beautiful science.
All right.
Yeah.
And then Sean, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, see, we busted a lot of myths today, but that one is 100% true.
All right. 2 thumbs up for that one. Now, Shawnette says, I've used powdered 1 part milk and 3 to 6 cups water or parts water on my fiddle leaf fig. I've seen improvements in its health and physical presentation of the leaves. Powdered milk, is that a thing?
That one, I've heard a lot of people talk about using milk on their leaves. And you know what? I'm not 100%. So you know what I'm about to do? I'm about to go to my Texas AgriLife website, and I'm about to put that into a search to see how valid it is. Derek, what do you think while I'm looking this up?
Go ahead and look that up because I think it is a bunch of Oscar Mayer. I used to love Oscar Mayer back in the day. I used to eat a lot of bologna. Good sandwich. Y'all cook a nice bologna sandwich and you get it burnt on the edges. I know you like that, Andre. Good burnt edges with some
I'm not a bologna guy.
It's okay. I'm going to judge you if you're not. I'm going to pretend like he didn't say that. We're just going to keep going. So
honestly, I'm not sure if I've ever had a bologna sandwich.
When me and you meet, I haven't had bologna in a long time.
It doesn't look good.
Bologna sandwich.
It doesn't look.
You see, you're judging it already.
And I'm a hot dog guy. I'm a hot dog guy. Like I'll eat some processed meat.
It's pretty much a flat
hot
hot dog. It's a flat hot dog.
Hot dogs are great.
Yeah, it's a flat one. It's just a flat round hot dog. But for powdery mildew, milk can be used to like prevent that. On leaves with powdered milk, I would be worried about, again, like leaving opportunity for like fungus or something to grow in. I know a lot of people will swear by a lot of these things, but as one person on one of my comments put it, some of us are just now watering our plants more so than we used to. So you're putting the milk in, you've watered it down, you've made this concoction, but you're really just giving your plants water at a more source. And because you're paying attention to them now, because you're paying more attention, because you're trying to see if this helped your plants or not. You're just more sensitive than you used to be, and that's why it's successful. Not the milk madness.
All right, so
go ahead, man.
Are you ready for what the ag?
What's
What did the ag extension say about milk?
All right, so University Ag Extension state that multiple studies, including Brazilian, Australian, and U.S. research, that shows that diluted milk in a diluted form, so your powdered milk is a diluted form, 10 to 40% can suppress powdery mildew. So using it as a means to rid your plants of powdery mildew, it definitely can work. I actually just did a video on how to make your own mild fungicide by using baking soda, soap, and water. So you can actually supplement that baking soda with a powder, milk powder, and it'll do the same exact thing.
All right. Yeah, I've heard of people spraying diluted milk on their plants to help with the powdery mildew, like especially for like your cucumber family plants, your squashes and pumpkin and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yep.
People focus on the wrong things. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I said, notice he didn't say that other stuff. I don't want y'all to lump that in. Like, he said I was right. He did not say that. Don't add that in. Go ahead, Andre.
Dallas says people focus on the wrong things. That is, I think I'm going to have that like tattooed on my chest. That is like people focusing on the wrong things. Like I heard a guy one time, and I don't exactly 100% agree with him. He was like, if you're like under like 30 and you can't, run a mile in 10 minutes, I don't want to hear what you eat. There's so many ways that you can control your health that by not being in shape, and you want to tell me that I got to eat an organic tomato, that's not saving your life. Get fit, get in shape. Those things are just so much orders of magnitude more important than whether your tomato is organic or not. I just feel like sometimes people are just so focused on the wrong things. And it just goes all over the place. But anyways,
it's. I think that's what we do. That's part of our human condition, right? We find things to hyper focus on. So some people their hyper focus is only going organic. Some people their hyper focus is I want the best car. I need the best stereo. I need the best tech. Everybody has their hyper focus.
Yeah, but but if your hyper focus is the organic thing, then it's probably because your hyper focus is health, right? That's what you would think it's the purpose of it, not just because you like maybe you just like organic stuff, but I think you're doing it because you think it's helping your health. But there's so many things that are so many orders of magnitude more important to your health than that.
Yeah.
Anyways. So someone here did say, I think they're talking about the electroculture store. They said it works. I have one of those rods. I also put pennies in my money plant, and it has grown. I think that might be a joke. I think that might be a joke.
They're not. If you look deeper in the comments, we had some little discourse about it. I know a lot of you have big feelings, but feelings are not factual, unfortunately. And when it comes to the true science behind plant grows, we have to be very considerate of that before we're but it works for me, because if I'm like, hey guys, I drink a teaspoon of Vaseline and I have no health problems, you're all not going to go and do that. You're going to look at me like Alice in Wonderland and think I'm nutso, right? It's the same thing.
Right, and what he's saying may be perfectly true. He may drink a half gallon of Vaseline and he may have no health problems, but it doesn't mean that those two things are related. That's just a weird thing he does, and he just happens to have no health problems.
Greasy all on the inside.
Greasy. Well, everything's working. All the joints are moving. Good evening, gents. According to Harvard Health, the benefits of alkaline water are negligible at best. The body, as Andre stated, regulates its own pH constantly. Alkaline water is a waste of money.
Yes, sure is. Say that again, Jesus.
And thank you for checking a credible source. That's what we're all about. We're about checking those credible sources, not Wikipedia. Credible sources where we get valid, real information. Thank you.
Even the AI, a lot of times you ask AI something and it gets it wrong sometimes. And then if you re-ask the question better, then it will correct itself. So a lot of times people go to the first thing AI tells them, and a lot of times it's wrong. Everyone is always looking for shortcuts, just stick to the basics. I kind of agree, but also sometimes there are new things that do work. There are new things that make gardening easier or better.
Yeah.
Yes, the copper has convinced me just from using pennies. All right.
Well, there was a statement. There was a doctor that I was watching on YouTube, and she said this brilliant statement. I've been sitting here trying to remember, but she says causation is not.
Causation doesn't.
Correlation is not causation.
That's it. Correlation is not causation. I was like, oh, you said it, sister. That's the thing. We think that, again, anecdotal evidence doesn't really get. But hey, if it makes you feel good, think of it like a placebo effect. If it makes you feel good, I'm not mad at it.
Yeah.
I'm glad they're not.
Oh, is the bug spray for kids? Yes, it is for kids. It is all natural. It can be going on anybody. It can go on kids, can go on old people, can go on anybody.
We love it.
Zinc isn't. Oh, that's you. Has anyone had pawpaw, and does it grow in Central Florida? Have you guys had a pawpaw yet?
They are
I
delicious.
have not, but I want to grow a pawpaw. But
You can.
I don't think that you guys can in Central Florida.
Not really Central Florida. I have 2 trees. They really struggle. We're really just outside the lower growing zone for pawpaw. They're supposed to grow up to about zone 8, maybe the edge of zone 9. I'm in 10A, and it's really a little too hot for pawpaw. I've never seen a pawpaw tree with fruit on it in Central Florida. But someone says it grows. Soul says it grows in Central Florida. You might be North Central Florida, maybe, or something.
Or maybe this is just a specific variety. You know what? Again, I'm going to mention University of Florida. Even though I'm not in Florida, my extension is Texas A&M. But check with University of Florida. See if they have cultivated a variety of pawpaw that actually can survive the climate. Because you would be amazed how many things your local ag extension is creating just for you to grow in your zone.
Yep. Someone said, oh, damn, it just jumps up and down. There was a question here. I lost it.
It's gone now.
Oh, do plants respond to music vibrations? Does music help your plants grow?
In the very technical sense, yes. And this is the superest of technical examples. So tobacco, Nicotiana species, some of them have evolved to be able to produce more nicotine when they detect the sound or feel the vibration of the frequency of hornworms chewing on the leaves, right? So that predation helps. There are some plants that, depending on how the vibrations are, like how strong they are, not just like, oh, the music helps them grow, but the vibrations of it all can help them to get a little bit stronger tissues, like with wind movement and stuff. So it would be more so that some sounds, some frequencies could potentially impact like chemical growth in the plant, but like you singing to them is just you breathing your breath on them, like you just ha on them. So yeah.
CO2 dose.
Texas
Question.
heavy metal and dub step. Now, see, I'm going to tell you, I do play some Isley Brothers and some Al Green. I'm listening to some Al Green, but that's more for me. So my plants get it, living vicariously through me. But, because, hey, think about it like this. If you're in a good mood and you're taking care of your plants and you're getting all this positive vibes and everything, then yes, of course your plants are going to do better because you are the one giving them the care. It's not so much you talking to them, it's that you're in a good vibe, so you're making sure, hey, look, your leaves look dusty. Let me wipe these leaves down. And while Al Green is saying something about love and happiness. You know what I mean?
That's it. While you are doing footsteps in the dark and I'm caught up in the rapture, my plants is feeling it.
Listen, someone else mentioned they use diluted beer in their plants. What's the deal with that? Is beer a nutrient for your plants?
Nothing that the plants can take up, Now, granted, using beer as a pest control measure for slugs and snails, that works. The yeast will drive your snails and your slugs into the little container where they will drown.
Right. Bear traps are great. But Brown Babe said it's very gross. Homes have cleaning chemicals. I'm not sure what she referred to. She talking about the AC condensation?
They were talking about the gray water I was talking about. So some gray water systems where they're like all of your water that you use basically goes to your garden. Those people are also using like biodegradable chemicals. So it's not like I would be using, if I had a gray water system, I wouldn't be using like bleach and Tide and Dawn. I would be using a slew of biodegradable, natural things to go out in my garden.
Although bleach isn't really the dangerous thing that people make it out to be. Like people can, like you can literally treat drinking water with bleach.
Yeah.
And actually drink.
Yeah, you can do that in survival situations. I've seen people do that before. But I think she may be getting confused. Gray water with black water. There's a difference. Your black water is going to have that raw sewage in it. Your gray water is just like water from you washing your hands.
From your kitchen and from your sinks, not from your toilets. Then.
Yeah, I think I misspoke with that, so that's probably what they're hearing. So that's my apologies.
Okay, what would be a better source of calcium than the eggshells?
Get this. I got it. This is something brand new. You go to your big box store, your garden center, you go to the aisle, you say, hey, person, show me where the calcium supplement is, and they give you that. Now, if you are a person who is not financially secure, and you're like, okay, Derek, I don't got a lot of money, you go to your Dollar Monkey, right? Whatever your Dollar Tree is, you get you some vinegar, you get your eggshells, you hit them in the oven, 350 for like an hour to sanitize them. Crush them down as much as you can with a blender or like a mortar and pestle or hammer. Okay, sit them in your container, a mason jar. I think it's 1 part eggshell to 1 part vinegar, and then you fill the rest of it up with water, and then it just has a whole chemical reaction. It's bubbling and fubbling, and then boom, you have a calcium supplement. That's immediate.
Right. So you got to make it bioavailable to the plant, right?
Exactamundo.
Now, speaking of available. Andre the Farmer's sweet and spicy pepper sauce is now available on Amazon as well.
Is it?
If you haven't tried this yet, guys, I guarantee you're going to love it. This is something we put on everything. I've got like 10 bottles here in Mexico. We use it on pretty much everything down here. It goes with everything. It's all natural. It's on Amazon. It's on my website at andrethefarmer.com.
Can I give a quick testimonial? Because see, he didn't see it. I was eating tacos before we got up here. I said, you know what? I got this sauce here. Let me throw this sweet and spicy pepper sauce, but not so hot, onto my taco. And I almost ate my face off. And I'm not just saying that on camera to make him feel good, because he didn't even know I did that. I just opened this today, had the slightest bit on my taco and said, So get you this today. It is delicious. This sweet and spicy is really sweet. It's kind of spicy. It's not super spicy for those of you who can't take it, but it is amazing.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Got a bunch of comments in the comments there talking about they got their sauces too. Nice.
All right. I don't want to talk about my sauce all day here. There was a really interesting comment that I saw on here. Someone said that's why we use coffee grounds with the eggshells. Correct? Question mark.
Incorrect question mark.
So, no, you mean incorrect exclamation mark.
It really both. I want both of them together. Put every part. So coffee grounds are alleged to be able to, I think, raise the pH of your soil, and then eggshells are supposed to be like the opposite way. And while coffee grounds are slightly acidic, they don't have like an overall negative or an overall like pH shifting effect on your soil. In addition to, they don't really give the nitrogen like the people say online. I was lied to for years, and I used to spread that lie. I would be like, they got all the coffee grounds. Go to your local coffee store that came from Seattle and spread everywhere, and spread these coffee grounds around. And then once I really looked it up, I was like, dang it, they got me too.
Very small trace amounts. And that's the thing. It sounds like it should work, right? Again, taking something from nature, putting it back in nature, it sounds like it should work, but it's only very small trace amounts. So if you want to use it to compost with, sure, go for it. Let's go into the landfill. Do it. Compost will smell great, but don't think it's going to be this miracle cure.
Now, someone said, I remember listening to someone talk about getting a beautiful bounty of tomatoes harvested from after planting them over a sea pool.
A what?
A sea's pool. They said maybe spelled incorrectly. I'm not sure what that means.
It wouldn't be a cesspool.
A cesspool.
Oh, Matt.
Let me look. Yeah. I'm trying to scroll up because maybe if I see the word, it'll click to me.
Because even the guy I was telling you about to go check out, Mike Reynolds and his Earthships, they don't grow anything edible over the black water pool.
Yeah.
Like they will plant plants over it, but these are usually just like your perennial plants or something like that, just to help break down that black matter. But they are not putting edible plants there, only with the gray water.
I'm not sure what that is. Trish says, I live in Georgia and I have azaleas that won't grow. What type of fertilizer can I use?
You're gonna need first. You're gonna need to check that pH. If your azaleas are not growing, it's probably due to the soil pH level. So get you a tester and test out that soil to see what it's at. Because azaleas, they like it very acidic. We're talking about like a 4. So check that first. And if you can get the pH right, then your standard, flower fertilizer will work perfectly fine. But it has to have pH right first so it can take up the nutrients.
Okay. I think they meant a cesspool. Like I never thought there was an actual thing that was a cesspool. I thought a cesspool just been a real disgusting thing. Is that a real thing? Like there's a cesspool? Is that a real pool?
Well, I'm wondering, honestly,
it's
like a septic tank.
It is. You're both right. It's the words you're saying and a name for a temporary storage of liquid waste and sewage. Now, I think the person later clarified they were talking about leaches, but I'm just gonna hop over that one.
Okay.
Well, I mean, maybe they're a homesteader, because a lot of homesteaders do things like that. So homesteaders will have the composting toilets or so forth. So in my core, I really want to be a homesteader, but I just like having all these amenities too much.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I think that's what maybe there's somebody who's interested in homesteading. And for that, honestly, you might want to check out some of the homesteading websites, and they can give you even more information on how to do that. Because it's
those composting toilets are pretty cool. Like people because it's fertilizer. Like it's fertilizer needs to be treated and in the proper way so you don't unalive yourself with your own food. So great. I believe we have one more sponsor that I'd just like to give a quick shout out to. I'm in Mexico and I don't have all my gear here with me.
I'm glad you mentioned it because today I was doing some plant maintenance. I had to go through and I had to do some potting. I have this beautiful pink. Let me go get it right quick so I can show you this plant.
Derek, show us what you got.
So I have this Ray because I also did some plant maintenance, and I used these on the shears I was using. I made a lot of propagations, more propagations than I had space for propagations. And God bless it, this Retain helped me to maintain clean shears. What's that plant you got there, Gray?
This is a Chinese evergreen or pink Chinese evergreen or aglaonemia. And I was actually doing some maintenance and cutting back some of the leaves because we had some foliage that wasn't doing too well. And so, of course, after I cleaned my leaves, I had to use my Retain spray because we want to make sure that we're not spreading plant disease. Plus, it's a great way of keeping your tools lubricated, even your chainsaw.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. I keep that in my little pouch with me now because whenever I'm doing a graft or an air layer, I put it on my shears and I wipe the shears off after. And there's so much gunk and muck when you wipe that away there. And when you cut and you're doing a graft, especially, any little bit of bacteria, well, not any little bit, but if there's too much bacteria in there, it's going to affect the graft union and it's not going to grow. So
and plus, it's a great way to keep your blade sharp too. So if you take some of this Retain and you put it on your honing stone and you actually use it as a lubricant while you're honing your knife, it's a great way to keep it nice and sharp too, because you need to have a sharp graft, right?
Yep, definitely. Someone asked, have you seen guys who romanticize farming, take a risk, and try farming, then fail because it's too hard for them?
Actually, I have.
I've heard that story a lot of times. This farming is hard, and you're not going to get rich farming, especially small farming. Like, it's a lot of work, and you eat what you kill. Like, if you have a bad harvest, you're not these big farms getting bailed out by the government. You're on your own.
Yeah, it's very scary. I mean, I've seen several people fail at it, and I mean, just because someone fails at something, you still have an opportunity to succeed, but it is a challenge, and you have to see if you're willing to accept that challenge. That's why I'm a gardener, not a farmer.
Exactly, me too. Name's Farmer, but I'm a gardener. So someone needs help. They have teeny tiny gnats in their houseplants. How can they solve that problem? We've talked about this before. Give them the rundown. All right, Derek, give them the rundown. Tell them how they can do it.
You get these here, mosquito bits or mosquito dunks. I get the bits because they're already broken up. You take a heaping tablespoon of this for every gallon of water. Have your water be warm and tepid. For those of us who have water that has like a higher level of chlorine, I just let my water get really hot and let it sit all overnight, so that way all that chlorine evaporates. Add this in the next day, let it sit for another day or so, right? I water all my plants with this continuously, and then I don't have gnats. The gnats I have now, or for other reasons I'm not going to disclose, but let's just say, ferments exploded and I didn't realize they were open. So gnats are everywhere. But they're not in my soil because I use this.
Also, you can keep the soil not so moist. Overwatering and having that moist soil, that's definitely going to be the breeding ground for those gnats.
And now I'm going to say something controversial, all right? A lot of the potting mixes that you're getting from your stores, your commercial potting mixes, retain too much moisture. So when we're telling you don't water as much, I mean, really? Now, I'm a little bit of a soil nerd, so I love making my own custom blend. That is my favorite thing to do. I actually just made some this morning. So if you're going to use some soil from a store, make sure you add an amendment so you can have that drainage. Add that inorganic material like your perlite or your vermiculite and so forth, so you can add that drainage, and that will definitely help you out. Because honestly, you're going by that miracle of a brand, and you're putting that in your plant, it's going to hold on to that water, and you're going to get that. It comes.
Yeah. Now, Plantastic made a great point. Not just people that get into farming end up realizing it's too hard. People that are homesteading as well. They think they're going to provide all the food for themselves, and they realize it's not as easy as they thought. I would definitely agree with that as well, Plantastic.
Have you guys ever seen this show called Homestead Rescue?
No, I haven't seen that.
Watch this show, because that is the whole premise of the show. Literally, the gentleman and his two kids, they go out and help homesteaders who are failing because they thought there was just going to be this easy miracle thing, and they are failing bad. So
that sounds like a good show, actually. I'm definitely going to check that out. Now, Enterprise, I think he is targeting me here. He says, stop growing pineapples. Now, I really want to know why. I want Enterprise to tell me why I shouldn't. He said I should start with tomatoes, melons, berries, and squash. Why should I stop growing pineapple? I really want to know the answer to this. I hope you're still there. I hope you can answer this question for me.
Oh, I hope they do too.
Hey man, grow what you love,
How could you succeed against how could they succeed against the hardships they'll face? Tips and perseverance. Thanks for replying, guys. Man, I'll tell you what, farming is so different depending on what you're trying to grow and what you're trying to make a living off of, that every case is so different. There's nothing I can tell you. I've never in my life had to make a living off growing stuff.
Yeah. And you know what? I'm actually a certified nursery. I do grow a lot of ornamental plants and nursery plants to sell to folks. But this is just a supplemental income. I mean, it is not something that is going to pay my mortgage. But, going back to that whole perseverance, that's life in general speaking, I mean, if you really think about it, every time you fail, it's not truly failure unless you just quit. You got to learn from it and carry on, carry on my wayward son.
Right. We have a serious question here because it says serious question. 7 dust or diatomaceous earth, when should each be used?
Now, I'm going to say I don't use 7 dust. I don't use 7 dust because I have used it in the past, and I've been growing over 20 years, and I've had what is it called? Dermatitis.
I think you're saying it right.
Since I've had a reaction to it, it doesn't go on my garden. But diatomaceous earth, I do use.
Okay. Well, I use diatomaceous earth when it's in my raised beds. I just recently had to use 7 sulfur on my lychee tree because I had a lychee mite infection, and lychee mite is a new pest here in Florida, and it literally, it is like the citrus greening for citrus trees. It's wiping out the lychee trees here in Florida. So I tried everything. I tried neem oil. I tried insecticidal soap. I tried everything. So eventually I took all the leaves off the tree, every single leaf, trimmed it down to almost nothing, dusted the whole tree in 7-sulfur, and it's growing back lovely now. I don't see any sign of disease right now. So hopefully that cured it. But that's the first time that I've had to use something stronger than neem oil really in my garden.
And I've not used 7 Dust, but I've used the 7 Liquid. I no longer use 7 products that, unless I make sure they're not like dangerous to bees. But it all just depends on what pest you're dealing with. Depending on the pest, depends on what you can use.
Okay. Justin, good luck your crocus sativa farm. Good luck on that. It's on your farm. That's awesome. Now,
and I'm glad you said about the bees, because I put out a video a while back. A lot of people are like, don't use diatomaceous earth because it affects all insects. This is true. Diatomaceous earth actually dries out the exoskeletons to a lot of your insects. But when I'm using my diatomaceous earth, I'm using it in a very controlled environment, and it's only for specific pests. I'm not just with my diatomaceous earth.
When I see 500 honeybees crawling around in my soil, I will worry about bees and diatomaceous earth. Okay? Because I kept bees for 5 years, and one of the ways that we check for there are something mites is you literally have to kill 100 bees. like 1 or 2 bees crawling around in your dirt, if they happen to be there dying, is not affecting a hive in any way at all. But guys, we're out of time. Parting words. Derek, what you got to say?
So the person that was asking you about that pineapple said this, and I want to kind of adjust what they said and remix it. When it comes to growing plants, some of us will grow what's trendy, and that's where some odd people will grow pineapples because they're trendy, they're cool, and you want to have them. And I want you to do that, and I want you to feel good whether that plant passes or not. But just be careful when you are following every which way that people say to grow plants. Everything that sounds trendy, everything that looks cool, without actually checking it out. And for those of you putting your last minute questions in, you're just gonna have to DM us because we ain't gonna read these questions. I ain't even gonna lie to you. We gotta go. What you got, Andre?
Well, hey, I want to let Grace speak first so I can just close it out. But what do you got to say to people?
No, I was gonna say the same thing Derek was saying. Like, look, all these questions, y'all send us these in the comments on the replay, because we're not answering these right now.
I tell you, guys, get your questions in early on the show. We're here every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern time. Rain or shine, we're gonna be here. Well, unless I can't be here, but most times we're gonna be here. So get your questions in early. Get your questions early. If you want to DM any of us, we will respond to your DMs. So DM us, ask us your gardening questions. That's what we're here for. We're here to help you guys as best as possible, not just on the show, but at all times. You can catch the replays here on Instagram. You can also catch them on my YouTube channel. You can catch them on your guys' YouTube channels too, right?
We're on all cylinders. So go check us out.
All right, guys, we're 2 minutes over. We got to go. All right. See you guys. See you next week. Bye, guys.